Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Hazel Lucia Tarot. I'm your tarot reader Stephanie, and today's reading is about the tea, the gossip, what people are saying about you and your person. So this could be for any kind of connection. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It could also be platonic, friendship, professional, or even familial. We have 5 piles here for you today. Pile 1, we have a flower agate. Pile 2, we have lepidolite. Pile 3, we have golden healer quartz. Pile 4, we have garnierite. And pile 5, we have garnet. So take a few deep breaths, think about you and your person and the energy surrounding the both of you, and I'll be ready for your reading whenever you are. Hello there, pile 1. If you chose the flower agate, then we have your reading here for you about the tea on you and your person. What are people saying about you and your person? Whether you're in a connection, whether you're friends or frenemies, whatever kind of connection, I'm trying to keep it open. So we're going to start with a vibe check, and then we're going to go into the tarot to see more specifically what they are saying. So I have piles pre-selected. You can choose whichever one you feel like you resonate more with. Just because like I said, I wanted to keep the nature of this connection open. So let's start with the piles, and then I'm going to use these to be the connecting energies, like what's going on between you and your person. So for person A, we have Jesus support, we have death and magic, we also have family and illumination flames. So I'll be honest, I feel like person A has very psychic vibes, almost like if we were to literally take this as like the death card, this would be somebody that people rely on or that helps out a lot whenever there's been some big situation in a family, such as a death or even like somebody being hospitalized or somebody who is going through a lot. Person A is a big pillar of support for a lot of people, especially within their family. This could be literal family or found family, or even like a group of friends that acts like a family. So person A is somebody who, especially with flames and illumination and magic, I feel like they're a really great transmuter of energy, or somebody who is just, like I said, they're really good at supporting people, even if they're not very spiritual. I feel like they're very understanding. This is somebody who is rather selfless, or has the capability to be very selfless in dire situations, or in matters where things are constantly transforming. This is somebody that people really trust in or can trust in. So let's look at person B now. We have Artemis, individuation. We have faith. We have art and smoke, cleansing. Oddly enough, I feel like person B can be very similar. The only difference I see here is that person B may be on they might be a little bit more independent, and they may focus a little bit more on the beauty of things with art here. Because for whatever reason, even though there is a beauty card in this deck, I'm being told that art here is beauty, or things such as looking at the bright side of life, looking at that which inspires us and fills us with the need to create. So there's very similar energies between person A and person B. It wouldn't surprise me if they were related, especially here with family. But even if they're not, these would be like friends or people who are just vibing at the same level. Very interesting dynamic here. Like I said, very similar energies, because both faith and magic. I'm thinking third eye. I'm thinking spirituality. I'm also thinking of like just people with very strong empathy. So let's look at the connecting energies. With the cleansing card, I do feel like person B, I mean, they could literally need to cleanse their energy a little bit more, hence why they seek out to be more individual, or why they seek that independence a little bit more so than person A. Because person A feels like I said, they're a family person. They like their people, whether that's friends, family, or whoever it is that they surround themselves with. If this would be in the workplace, this would be somebody who makes the workplace literally feel like home, because they're always, bringing snacks for everybody. They're always keeping in touch with everybody, making sure that everybody's taken care of. This would be like the mama bear, papa bear of the workforce. I don't know why that's coming through, but maybe some of you have somebody like this in your workspace. That's only if that applies here. So connecting energies. We have wisdom. We have observe. We have soften. And we also have tears. This is such lovely energy. Like, this isn't so much the tea on you as much as like the overall vibes and energy that I get whenever the both of you come together. Because you're very similar, I feel like you find comfort within each other. Like, you just really get each other. There's something here about, especially with tears, especially if there's been like a loss or some sort of tragedy, or even if it isn't a loss, maybe one or the both of you are going through something. There's an energy here where you can both really rely on each other, and you speak what is in the heart. You speak what's going on, not just in the mind, but in the soul. With wisdom, observe, and soften. It's almost like you both really understand each other. This could easily be, and I say this because like within the tarot community, you get to meet other tarot readers. Like, you just get each other. So whenever you speak, it's just like, yeah, I understand. Like, I absolutely know exactly what you're going through. So these two people really do meet each other wherever they are. And I feel like there's almost something very comforting about your energies. I could easily see this being as like two really close friends, or even if they're not close, two friends that really get each other. So whenever they do have the time for each other, it's like they're always meeting the soul. They're not just meeting the outside, even though of course they can talk about external matters. This is more like two people that come to each other to learn and to expand. Very strong ninth house energy, which is the house of expansion, travel, journey, and education as well. I think people forget that it's about learning. Because I do feel like you both learn from each other and observe the things that you do. Like, it's not just the words you say, but also what you do. So I feel like this is a very, very mutually benefiting connection, whatever it may be. Like I said, it could be family, maybe it's siblings, maybe it's cousins. For some of you, like I said, it's really close friends. I'm not really getting anything romantic, though if you and your romantic partner are this way, that would make a lot of sense. But for the majority of you, I feel like this is more a friend. I don't know why I'm getting the feeling that maybe some of you have reconnected with this person during some sort of family affair, whether it was like a wedding or a funeral, something along those lines. Because I'm not getting like super closeness. Like, I don't feel like you talk to each other every day. It's more like whenever you do have the occasion to speak, it's just a very enriching kind of connection, a very enriching kind of conversation and time that you have with each other. Lots of love here as well. But the what's the word for it? The universal love, like, it's like even if we weren't family, even if we weren't friends, I feel like we would still get along. That's the kind of energy I'm getting from the both of you. So it's interesting. I don't really think there's any tea here so far. Numbers that are important, just in case they resonate with anybody. We have 12, 21. The 21st of December could be important, and I think that's on the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn, which I did mention Sagittarius. We also have the number 6 and 13. June 13th could be important. June and December, that would be Gemini and Sagittarius, I think, which those would be opposite signs. I think some people call them sister signs. I call them opposite signs because that's what they are, which doesn't mean that they oppose each other. It just means that they're complementary, like where one lacks, the other one provides. That's what I like about opposite signs in astrology. Anything else wanting to come through? So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot portion just to see what the tea on the both of you is. This would be what other people are saying about the both of you. Or if it's not other people, it could even be spirit, just because, like I said, for this particular pile, it's very spiritual. So it wouldn't surprise me if spirit wants you to know something about this connection. So I'm using the Adventure Tarot deck for my pile 1. So what are people saying about you and this person? We have the 9 of Cups. I'm hearing that it's weird circumstances that brought the both of you together. That's what I'm hearing, which is interesting. Like I said, this could be meeting at a funeral or something like that. It's like not long lost cousin, but it's like that distant cousin or distant sibling that you don't see unless it's a funeral. And somehow, even though the circumstances are awful, like, you're glad that you got to reconnect, which, you know, I know happens. Like, life just gets ahead of people, and sometimes you don't make time for the people that they are either related to or something along those lines. Why are they saying this? Yeah, the Five of Wands. I feel like you and this person didn't always see eye to eye, or people thought that you would not like each other. Because I'm getting something about conflict, but the conflict isn't really as much as you thought it would be. If anything, it's more you know when you meet somebody for the first time and you think you're not gonna like them, but then you get to talk to them and it's like, oh, actually this person's pretty cool. And it's kind of like, I like to say this term a lot, the hurt in me sees the hurt in you. So I feel like the red flags that you may be trying to pick up on this person, or vice versa, maybe that this person is trying to pick up on you, like they're trying to look for the red flags, but all they really see is a mirror of their own red flags. So I feel like if there is a reason as to why the both of you wouldn't get along, it's actually because you have similar wounds, and depending on how much you've healed those wounds would determine how much you get along. Does that make sense? Because, like I said, you both are on a very similar vibrational level. So I feel like you both get along very well, even though people wouldn't expect you to. I feel like people thought that you would hate each other. Maybe some people still think that you do, and the truth is that you two adore each other, which is very interesting. Yeah, let's get the rest of the cards. Anything else that they are saying? Okay, these two came out together. Five of Cups, Six of Cups. So the both of you keep you keep whatever's going on private. Like, even if you both speak about your emotions, I don't feel like you're going out there talking to the whole world about them. I feel like you only talk about them to each other. So people may assume that, well, no, that's not. So maybe one or the both of you assumes that this is how the both of you are with everybody. Like, let's say you meet this person and they tell you about very intimate details, and I feel like you would assume that that's how they are with everybody. But I feel like that's not true. I feel like you open up to each other very naturally. Therefore, you only share those intimate details with each other. Because the Five of Cups and Six of Cups is a positive card. It's nostalgia. It's like childhood wonder. It could also be like childhood wounds sometimes. And then the Five of Cups is like, it can be pessimism. It can be deciding to look on the negative things. But it's like I said, there's almost like a very psychologically benefiting aspect to this connection where like you both just you talk about your problems and you heal, you transmute this energy together. So you both might talk about very deep things, like very maybe even traumatic experiences, but you don't talk this way to the whole world. You don't say this to any random stranger. Maybe this particular person, if they were at one point a stranger, you opened up to them very quickly, and vice versa. But this isn't how you are with everybody else. You keep these things private. And hence, I think some people think, again, there's a weird feeling here that some people think that you would hate each other, but you don't. It's like you actually vibe very similarly. So I think that's actually, I actually kind of like this connection. Like, you two are very, I wouldn't say ride or die, but like you trust each other. Even if you're not very close, you trust each other. That's good. I want to get another card for the outside opinion. It's kind of weird. I'm trying to get the tea, but it's like maybe people are digging very desperately for some tea on the both of you. Like, they want to find some sort of reason or proof that you guys are actually awful to each other. But the truth is that you're not. It's like, no, we're actually not like that. I'm sure people would love it if you were, just because it makes things a little bit more interesting, but you don't. Let's see. Yeah, Ten of Cups. Like, the both of you, you're friends. You're happy together. You like each other. You think you're cool. Like I said, I wasn't getting strong romantic vibes. For some of you, this could be somebody that is potentially romantic. For a lot of you, this is family. For a lot of you, this is a friend, or a friend who is like family. Like, you trust each other. And one last card. Anything else that wants to come through? Actually, let me go ahead and make a question for this card. What is going to be any future experiences of this connection between you and this person? Six of Pentacles. Again, you both just mutually benefit from each other. Six of Pentacles is very much you keep each other, you make things very fair for each other. Like, you both, there's not one person here taking more than the other. There's not one person giving more than the other. And if one person does notice that one person is doing this, they keep them in check, either by paying them back, or saying, hey, you never, like, there's something here where you're both very balanced. It's a very balanced connection, very healthy connection too. And again, I feel like people are trying to look for a reason as to why this wouldn't work out. And they can keep looking, because I feel like this is a very healthy friendship, connection, family situation. It's kind of odd. I feel like, you know how to some people, any type of argument is like a red flag. In this connection between you and this person, arguing would just mean, or not arguing, I feel like that's the wrong word, but like having a difference of opinion is actually something important for the both of you, because it means that you both stand for something, and even if you disagree on something, you can still respect each other. That's what I'm getting. So even if you and this person have ever had like any sort of quarrels or disagreements, doesn't mean that you're gonna split up, doesn't mean that you're gonna stop talking to each other. This is far from toxic. Even though people may want to be looking for something toxic within this connection, that's not the case at all. So this is a very solid relationship. Back of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups. The only downside is I feel like you and this person don't talk enough, or you don't see each other enough. Maybe you live on like opposite sides of the world, or opposite sides of the country, or maybe you just don't have the time for each other. Like maybe you're both very busy. Strength. But I feel like, you know what's odd? Anytime that you're both in a very specific place, like maybe you're both having a really hard time, or one or the other is going through something, you reach out and you're always available for this. So I could easily see this being like siblings, or again, friends that are just very, very understanding of each other, but don't get enough time together, or even family. There's just yeah, this is a very healthy connection. I don't know what to tell you. So if people are trying to hate on this, good luck. I feel like this is very spiritually guided, whoever this person is to you. So let's go ahead and get some closing messages for pile 1. I'm gonna get some affirmators cards for my pile 1. Compassion. I choose compassion over criticism. Walking a mile in other people's shoes reminds me they might be going through something tougher than I think, like their shoes are too tight, or they're the kind of shoes that are too casual to be dressy and too dressy to be casual. Basically, I have no idea what they're dealing with privately, so I'll cut them some slack and be thankful for the shoes I've been dealt. Yeah, you and this person, you don't judge each other. I feel like you could, and maybe one or the both of you have done things in the past that, like, with any other person you might judge, but with each other there's a little bit more compassion, and I'm not sure why that is. I think, again, you both vibe at a very similar level. There's a lot of mirroring within each other in the most positive way, but also not the most positive. Like I said, I feel like the faults that you find in each other are also faults that you understand that you have within yourselves. So there's a lot of extra forgiveness here as well. I feel like if one or the both of you ever did something wrong to each other, there'd be a lot of forgiveness, a lot of understanding. That said, you don't enable the negativity. You don't enable the wrongdoings. You correct them in a way that I feel like you're both accepting to be corrected, which is so interesting. This connection is very refreshing. Whatever this is, it's a very positive thing. And then I'm going to use a channeled message oracle. This is Alice's romance oracle, but you do not have to take this romantically. We have, they are not you. There's several things. Maybe somebody here has accused somebody here of doing something, and like the other person is like, no, it's actually not you. Or yeah, it's almost like somebody here has been wrongfully accused of something before, and the other person has had to stand up for them. Another way I'm seeing this is that it's hard to find somebody like you. Like, even though you're both very similar in vibe, like, it's hard to find people like each other. Hence why you both have such a strong affinity for one another. Why there's such a strong bond. You know that people like each other are not easy to find. I miss you. Yeah, like I said, I feel like you don't see this person enough. So they do miss the conversations. They do miss the times that you have together. I'm getting lost in the memories. For a lot of you, you've known this person a long time, or maybe you hung out with this person more often in the past, because there's something about nostalgia coming through very strongly here. You drive me crazy. That said, like I said, this isn't all like sunshine and rainbows. There are times when the both of you, like one or the both of you, get on each other's nerves, and it's like, but it's playful, it's cute. It's like maybe your person's always running late, or maybe the other person can be a little dramatic and it gets on your nerves, but you love them, so you're like, you know what, that's okay. You found out something about me. Yeah, maybe you're going to hear about something new from this person soon, or maybe you already have, or vice versa. Like whenever they hear something about you, they get excited and they call you up or they message you. There's something really positive about this connection. I'm finding it hard to find gossip and tea on it. Like if people tried, I feel like this connection is very divinely protected, and maybe that's all the confirmation you needed about this pile one. But this is where I leave it. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, Pile 2. If you chose the lepidolite palm stone, then we have a reading here for you about the tea on you and your person. What are people saying about you and your person, whether it's gossip or anything else that is notable? So we're going to start with a vibe check for you and your person, and you can choose whichever side you want to be. I'm just have these two piles pre-selected. So let's start with person A. We have Vitality, the Sun, number 38. We have Anubis, Protection. We have Abundance, number 8. So 8's coming out twice for this person. Maybe they're a life path 8. And then Happiness. So person A is a very protective soul. Not only that, but they have like this overabundance of energy and good, I almost said good charm and goodwill. Good charm, goodwill, and just there's a lot of like positive energy. They could easily be a Leo, because I'm thinking of the sun. The sun rules Leo. Or they could have a very strong, prominent sun, like a well-aspected sun in their astrological chart. But this person is very protective, very strong masculine energy. Like if this person, especially if they identify more with the masculine energy, they believe that they need to protect everybody from a lot of things, not just, evil or wrongdoing. I feel like this person knows how to provide. They know how to protect. With abundance here, they may be a little bit focused on finances, but even so, they do it out of love, or they do it out of a need to provide for people. If it's not finances, it could be an abundance, again, of energy. Maybe this person likes to go to the gym a lot, not because of their health, but because they want to be able to take care of people. This would be somebody who does things for the sake of everybody else. This person has a lot of very selfless energy, believe it or not. But they're very, I wouldn't say happy-go-lucky, but they're very positive. Like even when they're not happy, they find a lot of things to be grateful for. Very beautiful energy. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at person B. We have Protection, Shenring. Okay, so already there's mirroring between you and your person. We have your Guides, number 19. This is the number 3. Number 3, number 19. We have Frustration and Hecate, Illumination. It wouldn't surprise me if more of you kind of resonated more with person B here, pile 2, just because I know Hecate is she's a goddess of, well, she's the light bearer to the underworld, but I know a lot of people have, what's the word? They correspond her with witchcraft or even like spells and incantations. So she's associated with that. I don't know why I'm like losing my language when I tap into this side. Maybe some of you don't speak English as a first language, but she's very much somebody who, for pile B, person B, you make it a point to find solutions to even the most frustrating of situations. You're somebody who, yes, you like to protect yourself and other people, much like person B, or person A. Sorry, person B is much like person A in that they protect a lot of things. And with Guides here, I feel like the only difference is that where person A is very self-sufficient, they're very confident in themselves, person B might still be, I don't want to say codependent, but they rely a lot on like the people around them, or even their own like their spirit team, their spirit guardians. So I find a little bit less confidence with person B that person A may have. And maybe there's something here about person B admiring person A for how confident and like well assured their energy is, because tapping into person B is a whole different ballgame from tapping into person A. Person A is like very sure of themselves. They know exactly what to say. They're also very well spoken. But then there's person B, and person B could be a little bit more, I mean, I love person B so much. There's just a sweet energy to them, but they could be a little tongue-tied. Maybe they're not as confident. Maybe they're a little bit younger as well. Maybe they're just not as sure-footed in their life as person A. So there's definitely something about mirroring their goals. Like they both have a similar goal in common or similar beliefs and values. The only difference I see is either expertise level, like a difference in, maybe there's an age gap here as well. Maybe somebody is older. I would feel like person A is older, but they don't have to be. Maybe they're just more experienced. But there's a lot of similarities here. In fact, I feel like they do respect each other a lot. Person A really loves that person B has this an energy of wanting to get problems solved. Like person B is the kind of person for sure that if you tell them your problems, they're going to find solutions whether you want them or not. So that's just the kind of person they are. And they don't do it out of a place of wanting to be patronizing. They do it out of a place of wanting to help people, of wanting to make things go smoothly. And I think that's one thing that they like about person A, is that person A has somehow managed to make things go smoothly. So there's definitely a lot of admiration between the two, and a slight distinction in, again, either experience or age level between the both of these individuals. So let's go ahead and get some connecting energies, connecting cards. For pile, okay, that one, a lot of cards want to fall out. So we have trigger. Maybe you're coming here because there's been something between the both of you that has triggered some sort of emotion or some sort of reaction that one or the both of you weren't really expecting. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me, especially if person B would find person A to be a little triggering, because they're just, I mean, I don't want to say jealousy or envious, but it does feel like person B would wonder why they're not at person A's level. And or something could have happened outside of this connection that kind of caused a bit of a rift, or a perceived rift. We'll see if that's true in a moment. We have explore. We have guide. Interesting that guide keeps coming through. Maybe the both of you share similar spirit guides, which I have seen before, where people have very similar or even the same spirit guide. And that part of the reason is because it's like one teacher to multiple students. Sometimes one teacher wants to teach, the same level of student. Also, the similarities, I'll point them out in a minute because I'm just now looking at the cards. When I channel, I look up sometimes, so I'm not always looking down at the cards. And then the last one is disillusion. There's like a back and forth here. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody here had like a love-hate relationship with the other person. It may be one-sided. I feel like one person here sometimes loves this person and the next day they're kind of annoyed by them. Back of the deck open. But the similarities, I'm just now noticing, like I said, there's a lot of mirroring here. Look how both of these ladies have like their arm up and they're both holding light. This person is holding the sun, and Hecate is holding the torch. So there's something about illumination here for sure. Like you both bring a light to this. And then Anubis here is kind of standing with his arms crossed, and it looks like he's waiting for Hecate to hurry up and get to somewhere. So there's almost like, this could be any kind of connection. Like I said, it could be somebody looking up to somebody they admire. This could be maybe like a sibling where like one sibling is like, I'm thinking of like an older sibling with a younger sibling, but it would be like a huge age gap or a huge, again, gap in experience. Or even like if you wanted to see this romantically, this would be somebody waiting for somebody to like be on their level so they can be together. I don't feel like that's a lot of you. There could be some of you. But just in case you were coming here for something romantic, because there's like a back and forth here. I feel like either you or your person or the both of you feel like your guides or the universe is kind of bringing you together, and you see why. But even when you do, it's frustrating, especially on person B side, because they see the discrepancy. Is that how to use that word? You see the problems, the disillusion. I feel like somebody here is less willing to believe in forces outside of their control. Maybe it's person B. Maybe they have a back and forth relationship with like spirituality or the belief in themselves or the belief in something else. And maybe person A is always trying to like get person B to believe in not just themselves, but like the universe a little bit more. And maybe that's what triggers person B so much sometimes. It's that they know that person A is right, but they hate being reminded of it. Or they wish they could believe it a little more, but sometimes the evidence suggests otherwise. Like person B might be a little bit more science-based. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they believe too much in the 3D and not enough in the 5D. Yet there is still the potential there for like believing in something outside the self, which is so interesting. There could be, I am getting envy and or jealousy here, especially with this abundance card, because I feel like person B might be envious of person A's abundance, whatever that may be. Like they feel like person A has a lot of something and they kind of wonder how they do it or how they get it or how they can come about it. But I do feel like both of these, we're definitely guided to know each other or know of each other. I don't know. Like I said, some of you, maybe this is somebody you don't even talk to. You just look up to them, but you might be critical of what they do as well. Like, for example, these could be like a musician and somebody else who also is an aspiring musician, but they don't get how they got to point A to point B. Person B, though, like there's a lot of, the lack of belief in the self almost breaks my heart, because I can tell that person B might be struggling more than they have to, or they don't know how to, like when I tap into person B's energy, my ability to channel their feelings and just information in general is a lot more lagging than if I tap into person A, which person A typically knows exactly a little bit more about what's going on or has a stronger belief in the self. So person A is definitely more connected to source than person B. Person B, it's spotty, you know? Like it's like a radio. I don't know, do people listen to the radio anymore? I was recently somewhere in a car that had a radio, and I was driving to certain areas and the connection was just foggy. Like I couldn't hear the music, but then when I went to other places, like you could hear the connection a lot more strongly. So it could just be that person B had the misfortune of being born into an environment that didn't give them all the right tools and resources to get ahead in life. And maybe person A did, and or person A was able to get themselves into a position where they could find the resources to get their needs met, hence the abundance. So I can see why there's a little bit of love-hate relationship here. More so from person B than person A. I don't think person A is affected by this, but person B just finds it hard to stomach sometimes. But with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot. Yeah, like I said, this could be any kind of connection. I wasn't feeling anything more than the other. If it is romantic, this would be like couples that marry even though they have like huge economic gaps in their relationship, or not relationship, but in their upbringing, or maybe one person makes more than the other, or one person just comes from like a different, I don't want to say culture or background. I don't think that plays into this. This is more the kind of individual the person is. So let's go ahead and get the tea, what people are saying about you and your person. I'm being told to lay out the cards like a story, which I didn't do in the first one. So if you're coming from the first one and you notice that it's different, I'm just being guided to do this differently. So pile 2. Somebody here doesn't want to start something. So we have the Two of Wands, this is the Page of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles reversed, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Seven of Wands reversed. Back of the deck is the Three of Pentacles. There's kind of like a, okay, if this is a romantic relationship or even a marriage, because I do see this in marriages sometimes, it's like somebody here is keeping quiet to keep the peace, or feels that something doesn't really need to be brought up. But the problem with that is that in the long run, this will turn into resentment. So there's something here about opening up your communication, making sure that you express how you feel or what you think. In a positive way, of course. There's something here about the way you express yourself being important as well. And maybe this is something that has been an issue between you and this person. If you interact a lot with this person, that's been like the case. I feel like the both of you could communicate differently, or maybe there's a little bit of a misunderstanding, because I feel like the goals that you both have long term are the same, but the way of going about them could be what breaks this apart, or maybe like doesn't allow one or the both of you to trust here, because there's something about somebody here definitely makes more decisions than the other. Somebody here definitely has the quote quote if this is a relationship, the pants in the relationship, or if this is like a teacher student mentor kind of energy, this would be like whoever's this mentor or teacher, they make more of the decisions and the student just follows. But there's something about somebody here asserting their ability to communicate, not so much their power. It's not the power, and after all, there is power in the way you communicate. There is power in expression of communication that is coming through, which is odd because there's no sword suit, and sword suit is typically associated with communication, words, anything verbal, and thoughts as well. But here we're mainly sticking with wands and pentacles, which is fire and earth energy. This would be that which gains momentum. In fact, there could be a lack of momentum within this connection, or even the results that you're both trying to get through to here, because things have not been expressed verbally enough. It's like you do, and you do things, and then you set up the procedures to do these things, but there hasn't been enough explanation or enough communication, oddly enough. And yet I feel like you're both forced to work together or live together. If not forced, again, this could be a relationship, either long-term or definitely something committed. If it's a friendship, I feel like somebody here takes more control than the others, and one person's always like submitting to the other because they feel like they don't know enough or know well enough. Basically, it's the imbalance of power here. Like, it's not being spoken about, but it's definitely noticed by somebody here. And it's not so much an imbalance of power, believe it or not. It's an imbalance of proper communication, understanding, and compromise. So somebody here may be seeing it a little too simply. Like, it's not that simple. It's not just one person has control and the other one doesn't. It's who's communicating, who's communicating well enough, and who's taking the time to understand. There's like a huge division of what somebody thinks is the issue and what actually is the issue. The issue is within both of you. Let me just say that, because it takes two to tango. It takes one person to listen and one person to talk, and for there to be understanding between the both of them. So there's like a shared accountability here, because the Seven of Wands card is accountability, but reverse, it's like neither of you wants to be accountable for your own decisions. Because this is talking about an issue, I kind of want to get more cards to see how this can be resolved between you and this person. Do I think people are talking about this? No, I think they're thinking about it and you'll never hear it, but they definitely see it. So that's what I'm getting, because I'm trying to tap into like third party perspective, and I feel like if people are talking about this, which I feel like it would only be your close friends or people who know you that well, close friends, family, etc., they understand that it's not an issue between you and this person. It's shared accountability. Like, you both have things where you lack, or where you're not completely understanding each other. Does that make sense? So how do we solve this? We have this is the Guide of Wands. The guide is the King of Wands. Again, it's not an issue of control. Take the notion of control or power, or somebody here having the final say. Somebody here views control and power as something a little too, it's like a blanket statement. Like, it's more complex than that. It's not about control or power or even the will to do something. It's about the ability to take the steps to get to somewhere. After all, Pentacles energy is foundational energy. It's like the building blocks of something. We have the Three of Swords. Also, understanding that sometimes disappointment, heartache, and, you know, the more negative things are sometimes a part of life. But it doesn't matter that this is what happens to you. What matters is that you can overcome it. What happens is that it's a reflection to you of where you need to see. For some of you bottle up emotions and you just need to be able to feel, but not just feel, but feel in like a healthy way. Because I can understand the concept of some people like almost being quote, quote, I mean, I don't want to say addicted to misery, but like they're very comfortable in sadness and misery, that they almost forget that sometimes what is making you feel bad is actually something that either you're not doing, or a lack of perspective, like choosing to see things, well, not maybe not choosing, or not being able to see things in a different way. I don't know why that's coming through. And I hope that makes sense because I'm channeling very heavily here. Like, I almost have a little bit of a headache here. And Temperance. Overall, there's a need to heal here. Back of the deck, the Chariot. And the only way through, it's like the only way to heal, the only way through this is to literally go through it. Is to literally understand that maybe some things may be difficult, that maybe some things are going to be difficult. But even just expecting things to be a little difficult can be a good preparation for the thing that you need to do. It's like expecting the worst can really help you overcome a lot more. And I'm not sure what it is that you're going through or what you and this person may be going through, Pile 2, but there's something here about working through it. Working through problems will give you more control over your life or control over the situation, if you wanted to keep that definition of control. It's also a little bit more nuanced than that. It's about communication. It's about understanding. It's about the willingness to understand that you deserve better, to understand that no one is meant to be stuck in this, in sadness forever. You know, we are meant to experience heartbreak, but we're not meant to live in the heartbreak. Does that make sense? And then Three of Pentacles again. And overall, it could just be, in the end, that you and this person just don't get along. Like, yeah, you may have similar goals and similar situations. This would be, again, going back to like the teacher-student reference. Like, yes, the student is meant to learn whatever the teacher is teaching, but maybe that's not the teacher for them. Maybe that's not the mentor professor for them, because the professor or mentor here refuses to change their ways, and maybe they're too stuck in their ways to do anything about it. The student has to go look elsewhere. Same thing with, like, you know, with consumers and companies. You know, if the consumer isn't finding what they want from a certain company, they have the right to go look elsewhere. It's very much a demand and supply and demand kind of thing. I really hope this made sense. For this one, the energy was very strong. So maybe for some of you, this issue has been going on for some time. Because Backpacker of Pentacles, this is the Knight of Pentacles. A Knight of Pentacles reversed would be one that is almost taking so long that, like, the progress isn't even moving, or like it could even be detrimental to the progress and how much and how long that they're taking to do something here. So with that said, let's get on to closing advice for my pile 2. This pile is a little bit longer just because I wanted to resolve some issues that I could see here. We have cleansing. Feeling bogged down by the weight of 1,000 thoughts, feelings, boxes of mystery, objects lurking in your closets? Consider this a prescription to clean house, mentally, physically, literally, figuratively, and anything else that applies adverbally. It's hard to make room for new connections and experiences when every bit of your emotional space is cluttered with psychic bric-a-brac. So enjoy a major guilt-free flush out. And not to worry, you can always find new psychic bric-a-brac in the metaphorical clutter section of Craigslist. So for some of you, you just need to clean your energy if you can, if that's something that you do and believe in. But also cleaning out a space can help so much. I always say this, it's definitely more of a feng shui thing, where reorganizing, clearing out a space, or even just getting rid of things that you know you don't need or no longer use can really help in transforming your life. Sometimes that is the most simple and basic thing one can do in order to change things around. Let's go ahead and get some channeled messages. And this oracle is meant to be more romantic, so if a romantic card comes up, you can just ignore it, or I'll interpret it in a different way. For pile 2. I hope you're not with someone else. There's somebody here hoping that somebody doesn't have somebody else to fall back on. Again, if we're talking about like a teacher-mentor connection, this would be a teacher hoping that a student didn't find somebody else. Or if it's a relationship, maybe the both of you have broken up or you're thinking about breaking up. Somebody here is hoping that somebody doesn't have somebody else lined up. Somebody is hoping that one person can become codependent on them, and maybe that's the issue here. I ran away. Yeah, somebody here ran away, or maybe it might be time to run away. Like, I know that sounds awful, but if the situation is that bad, it might just be time to move on for some of you. I never met anyone like you before. And maybe for some of you, you've never really dealt with a person like this or a situation like this. I want more than what we have. Yeah, like I said, it's like needs are not being met, or there's like a lack of understanding here. I think you are very talented, and yet they can't help but like admire what they do. So yeah, for a lot of you, this could be like a teacher, student, mentor kind of connection, or for some of you, it could be even like a parent-child dynamic, or even a friend who like, I guess they'll just never understand that you can't be on their level for whatever reason, or vice versa. But yeah, this is where I leave it, pile 2. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I'm sending love to you and your person. I can tell this situation is kind of, it's a little heavy, I'm not gonna lie. But with that, I leave you here. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 3. If you chose the golden quartz palm stone, then we have a reading here for you about the tea on you and your person, what people are saying about you and your person, and anything else that may come through. I'll be honest, the past few piles, they've been a little bit all over the place, so I'm not sure what to expect from each and every individual pile, but we're going to start with the vibe check between you and your person. This is going to be how you both, your individual energies. I'm not really going to choose one or the other for you. You can choose whichever you prefer, and then we're going to do connecting energies, and then we're going to look at the tea in the tarot. So let's start with person A. We have Hermes, communication. So strong mercurial energy here. They could be a a Gemini or a Virgo. But now that I said Sagittarius, maybe there was a Freudian slip there for a reason. We also have transition, arcway, number 48. We have strength and love. Okay, so I'm not surprised, because I know in certain, I forget if it's Greek or Roman mythology, it's actually Aphrodite and Hermes that create the Cupid or Eros. I think they're the parents of him. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could never really find the myth behind that, but that's what's coming through. So there's something about person A's love language being communication, words of affirmation. Maybe not so much words of affirmation as much as communication. I know that seems odd, because I think words of affirmation are things like compliments. But even if person A doesn't specifically give a compliment, the way they show their love is through communicating, being clear with the people around them, and just letting them know what's going on something. Like, this person wouldn't talk to somebody if they didn't like them, unless it's out of necessity or for, for professional reasons. With arcway, transition, and strength, I feel like person A is somebody who is capable of helping others. Like, another one of their love languages coming through is acts of service, or even just the ability to help people out. I really like person A's energy. It's giving me a little bit of Loverboy energy. I don't know why. Maybe because I find Hermes here a little bit attractive. But there's something here about person A having a lot of charm as well. I think they're very well liked by the people around them, their friends and family, and even the people that work for them or that they work for, depending on where they are in life. Strength lets me know, though, that this person is very realistic. They know that things don't come by easily. They're not one to believe in like an overnight success or they don't think that things come instantly. They understand that everything requires hard work and a little bit of belief in themselves. So person A, lovely energy. Let's go ahead and look at person B. We have pyramid mystery. We have space. We have duality, number 27. And Isis, protection. So person B is a little bit more guarded, because they know that not everything is as it seems. With mystery, there is a little bit of lack of trust here, which I could understand, especially because person A seems a little bit too good to be true. At least to person B. I feel like person B isn't used to having somebody who communicates so openly and so effectively with them, as well as somebody who is capable of like accepting anybody into their lives. So it wouldn't surprise me if person B is a little bit suspicious of this connection or of person A. So person B, with duality, they understand that there's two sides to everything. And I feel like they're not one to take something at face value. In fact, that is one thing that they both agree on so far, is that not everything is as it seems, that not everything is so easy. Both of them believe in, I don't want to say that they believe in the struggle, so to say, but they understand that not everything is just, it's like easy come, easy go. Like, they don't believe in things being easy, or that something of substance will take some time to develop. I could easily see this being a romantic connection. Out of all the piles I've done so far, this one easily seems like somebody who is trying to date somebody, but somebody here doesn't fully accept or believe in this. And it could come down to wounds. I feel like person B especially has been hurt a lot. If this is a friendship, same thing. Or even, I mean, for some of you, this could be like a parent trying to come back into their life and person B doesn't completely accept it because either something the other parent has said or maybe just what they've heard about them. But regardless, there's something here about person A fully and almost unconditionally loving person B. And whether that's because that's just how they are as a person or because they truly see something in person B that they adore will be up to whatever comes up in this connection. But I could see person B being a little bit not trusting, and not to say that it's not unfounded. I feel like they've been in situations like this before where they just didn't trust the situation or the person. Because mystery is like, person B could have a tie to ancient Egypt, by the way, because I just noticed that there's a pyramid and this is Isis, the goddess of the mother goddess in Egyptian mythology. And Isis was the one who put her husband back together. She collected all the pieces of him and put them together. Maybe person B has done that before in previous connections, relationships, friendships, family dynamics, etc., where they're always the one putting everything back together, but they're at a point where it's like, who's going to put me back together when I fall apart, you know? So they don't know if they can trust person A. And yet person A comes into this very... Look, person A is laying on the charm thick, I'm not going to lie, because I tap into their energy and I just like... There's something about them that's just very, very charming. And then person B, first of all, I'll just go ahead and say it. Person A acknowledges that person B is a very attractive individual, whether that's their personality or their outer appearance. Like I said, for the majority of you, I feel like this is going to be romantic. So just take that as it resonates. If it's not romantic, you can just ignore it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get your connecting energies for person, for pile 3. We have feel. Feel reversed, not somebody here not wanting to feel their feelings. We have desire. Okay, I'll just say it. Like, I doubt this is anything but romantic. Because, especially coming from person A, the person A definitely has the more romantic feelings here, if anything. Person B could just be like, leave me alone. Okay, so, because feel is reversed, desire came out. It wanted to be reversed. I don't really read these cards reversed, but somebody here could be feeling desire, quite literally. Compassion. And explore. Yep. If this is a relatively new connection, I feel like somebody here wants to get to know the other more, but they understand that they have a lot of guards up. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if person A is not surprised that person B has their guard up. They understand that person B has probably been through a lot. And person B, being the person that they are, they just don't trust it or they need more time. But person A definitely has an interest in person B. And in a way that is more... I keep being brought to this transition card where, like, it's possible that person A could actually help out person B a lot, especially in the long run. So I don't know where this connection has met because I feel like there's a lot of feelings involved here. So if this was something more professional, it would be hard to keep it professional for long. Take that as it resonates. But if this is something not professional, this could lead toward person A helping person B find the resources they need for certain things in their life, whether it's a career, whether it's through something. I feel like person A is very helpful. Like, they are capable of finding solutions to person B's problems. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if person A was constantly like looking for solutions to problems that maybe even person B didn't perceive. It almost feels like, I'll be honest, person A is paying a lot of attention to person B. Low-key obsessive, but I don't think it's in a bad way. I don't think it's in an unhealthy way. Not yet. I just feel like person B brings out feelings in person A that maybe even they themselves don't understand. Because yeah, like I said, person A is a very loving person to their friends, family, everybody around them, and person B is just not used to that energy, or maybe person B may or may not pick up that person A likes them. So take that as it resonates. Like I said, I feel like most of you would align with person B here. With space, I do see that person B sometimes feels that person A could be a little bit much. Like sometimes they need a little bit more space than person A is used to giving people. I feel like person A is used to people just flocking to them because, like I said, people adore them. So when person B takes their space, person A could be like, when person B takes their space, person A could be like, what do they not like me? What's wrong? What did I do wrong? And they could start offering solutions to that very thing that they perceive as a problem, when the truth is person B doesn't have a problem. It's just what they require in this connection. That said, I do feel person B would want to explore this as well, but they won't come in without their guard up. That is one thing I'm getting. So if this sounds like you and your person, let's go ahead and get your what the tea on you and your person is. I did look at the back of the deck. We have trigger. So slight potential for this connection to be triggering. If not to either the both of you, then definitely to like the people around you. Because there's almost something about this connection that is a little, it's not super magnetic. And that's not to say that it's not important. It's more like, it's a very soft, loving energy, but in a healthy way. Like, and maybe somebody here isn't used to that, or they're not used to experiencing that. So let's go ahead and get your cards. So for pile 3, what is the tea on them? What are people saying about this connection? That said, I don't think you two are together yet. This would be like a romantic interest that is trying to get to know somebody. Like nothing has been solidified. If it's more platonic, if it's more of a friendship, again, same thing. Somebody here is trying to get to know somebody. But even then, like person B would be wary of friendships as well. We have the 9 of Swords reversed. We have the 6 of Wands. We have the 3 of Wands. I'll say this, and this might be more from person A to person B, but somebody here, either you meet through a lot of other people, like friends of a friend, or they introduce you to a group of friends or a group of people, or you introduce them to a group of people. I feel like it would be them. That could really help you out, that you have things in common with. It could even just be the family that they have. We have 10 of Swords. Oh, I see what this is now. Okay. And Temperance. Back of the deck, 8 of Pentacles. So let me just say what I'm seeing. This could be a connection where it takes a while for the both of you to get together or to have anything together, because there's like a push and pull here. Somebody feels that they're not worthy, or somebody feels like they messed up. And the truth is, I feel like the both of you are just trying to do your best to be positive in this connection. I feel like it's coming more from one person than the other though, because it's kind of like somebody here is aware of the healing that they need to go through in order to accept this kind of love or this kind of connection or this kind of whatever this is. But somebody here, the other person is willing to be very, very patient and understanding of the other person's circumstance. It's almost like they understand that, well, maybe they do or don't, I'm not sure, but they can see that the other person has a hard time accepting some of the things around them, especially if this is in an environment where somebody here is new to like maybe somebody here just moved and they're having a hard time making friends or getting to know people. The other person would want to introduce them to a bunch of other people so that they can be a little bit more well acquainted with like the social group or the social setting or the neighborhood, something along those lines. It's like somebody here wants to make friends, but they don't know how, and the other person is trying to help them. But there's a back and forth, because I feel like there are certain guards that one person has up here, and it's preventing them from getting to know anything or anyone. And I think they themselves are aware of this, but they want that barrier to come down. What people are saying though, I'll be honest, the people around them are unsure of this person. It's almost like they see them as too different or too Like they see why the other person like really likes them. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing. One person here has a group of friends, and the tea being talked about is from that group of friends. But this person, like this group of friends, doesn't understand why this person is into this person, because they see this person and they almost see them as quote, quote, I don't want to say sad, but, and I don't want to say out of their league either. I think to them it just doesn't make sense, like why this person is into this person. Because I think the person who introduced them to their friends is just, this is not their usual type, or they don't usually go for somebody like this, or there's just something different here. And I'm not saying that this group of people hates that person. It's more like they just don't get it, they don't see it, they don't understand. Ten of Swords lets me know that they don't believe it's going to last long, or they think it's going to end in heartbreak. Because Temperance is kind of like, they understand that it would take a lot of balancing out, because Temperance can be healing. It could also be a balancing of, it's the card where in the Rider-Waite it has the 2 cups that need to be filled. It's like it's going to take some checks and balances within this connection in order for it to work. Also some compromise. This could easily be like a friendship, connection, relationship where like the both of you come from different backgrounds, or just have different needs, or something along those lines. So people see and recognize that it's going to take some work to make this be something successful. I'm going to get more cards just because I'm kind of curious as to what people are saying about this connection. In fact, this is the first pile where like I clearly see people talking about this connection, and they're not even trying to be negative. They're just trying to be realistic. Because 6 of Wands is like somebody here is happy that somebody finally found somebody or something that they want, but they're not sure if that's what it is. You have the 5 of Wands. Yeah, it's like the conflict, or the, I don't want to say conflict, but the struggles are kind of evident to everybody. The acrobat, this is the Hanged Man. And people believe that somebody here will eventually change their mind. And 7 of Cups. They also believe that somebody here has a lot more options. Back of the deck, the World. So what people are saying about this connection is that they don't think it's going to last. And I'll be honest, especially if you resonated more with person B in the Oracles pile 3, I feel like you're letting the doubts of the people around either your person or you or whoever's around you to get the better of you. Like maybe you understand that people don't like the both of you together. Therefore, you're going to step aside and be like, well, if they don't like me with this person, let me just go ahead and move on because I don't want there to be problems. And the truth is, there's something here about not letting other people's opinions get to you. If you and your person like each other, then go for it. If this person really seems to be showing up for you in the ways that you want, I would say go for it. Don't worry about what people have to say. They can get over it because they're not the ones in a relationship with you. They're not the ones in the relationship with your person, etc., vice versa. But I feel like regardless, there's something here about this connection really making waves in somebody's family's or friends' lives. Like this connection is changing things. And of course, a lot of people don't like it, but like I said, at the end of the day, it's not their relationship. So that's the tea on you and your person, or the connection between you and your person. Let's go ahead and get some channeled messages and closing advice. So for my pile 3, humility. I take a deep breath and release all of my desire to be right. Without right, what's left? A soft and pliable version of me that's willing to make mistakes, hear other people's opinions, and trying to do stuff a different way. In other words, I get to take a pretty sweet all-inclusive brain vacation. So there's something here about just not letting something weigh heavily on your mind. Like if you're aware of what people think and say about this connection, or what they could potentially think and say, then understand that that's their baggage, not yours. Don't allow their baggage to become your baggage. Don't pick up their baggage. Leave it there for them to pick up because that's theirs. There's also something here. I mean, I don't feel like it's not that you want to be right either. It's more like you just don't want to be proven wrong, or you don't want to be humiliated. Because I'm thinking of that song by Sabrina Carpenter, the Please, Please, Please song, which the song is basically about don't prove everybody that they're right about you or not right, or, you know, it's like, who cares about the outside noise? In fact, you may be at this reading because you care a little bit too much about what people may be saying about you or this connection or you and your person, etc. And maybe you have to care. Maybe it's a situation where, like, you're in the public eye, or you have to seek the approval of family members, in which case, you know, all the best luck and all of my love to you. But at the end of the day, it's between you and your person, whatever goes on. Let's get some channeled messages from your person. I miss you. My intentions can be selfish at times. So somebody here may believe that somebody is being selfish, or even, I'll be honest, sometimes caring too much about what other people may say about a relationship can be selfish. Like, and I hate saying this, but it's kind of like caring about everybody else over the person that you want to be with, or that you may be needing to pay attention to, is a form of selfishness that I think people don't bring up enough. This could be your person, this could be you, or whoever it is, but because it's selfish for people to expect two individuals who have free will to do something that they don't want. I don't feel ready. Yeah, especially person B, I feel like they don't feel ready. I am frustrated with you. I can't get over you. And I keep writing and deleting messages. So whatever this is, I can tell that it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, even though there is some sort of love, where there's like, I don't know, somebody here has a hard time accepting this love, and I feel like that's the main issue. And maybe they're trying to find all the reasons to not be in this, and yet they can't get over the situation, because I feel like deep down they know that something went wrong or something was off, but I feel like the outcome of this connection I can't really see. It's more like it's still in the works, it's still playing out, or maybe this is something that is about to play out within the both of you. Back of the deck, don't trust me. Somebody here just has a hard time trusting, and that's fair. But yeah, so that's the tea on you. Maybe somebody, I'll be honest, maybe people are trying to feed seeds of doubt into somebody to prevent them from coming through. But this is where I leave it, pile 3. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 4. If you chose the garnerite, then we have a reading here for you about the tea on you and your person, what people may be saying about you and your person, and the dynamic, if anything at all. And we're going to start with the vibe check between you and your person. We got 2 piles here for you. I'm not going to choose for you. You can decide which one you are, whichever you resonate more with, and then we're going to do some connecting energies with this deck. So let's start with the piles, the pre-selected cards. We have ideation. We have home and empathy, number 30 and 5. We have scarab, resilience, and hypnos, sleep. Person A has been having dreams about a specific situation, is what I'm getting, especially with the ideation, empathy, and sleep here. So it's quite possible that person A is somebody who, whenever they have empathy or whenever they connect emotionally with somebody, they kind of take on their energy. They could be very empathic, but they could probably dissect this a little bit more easily through sleep or dreams. So there is a little bit of a psychic connection between you and this person, whether it's on your part or their part, depending on which one you resonate with more. And I do feel the need to say a word of caution when it comes to psychic abilities and psychic bonds. Just because you connect very easily with somebody psychically doesn't always necessarily mean that you are that you're soulmates or anything like that. I just feel the need to say that because I've connected psychically with people whom I don't really have anything other than like a friendship bond or anything. Sometimes it's coworkers, sometimes it's neighbors. I've had dreams of my neighbors because that's just how my ability is. So I just feel the need to say that, just in case this is somebody that, you know, maybe you don't want to be close to, or maybe you're not close with yet. But there is something here, especially with the scarab, with resilience, about the need to protect your energy from this person, or even your home. Or maybe there's residue, there's like energetic residue of this person within your home. Take that as it resonates, but let's go ahead and look at the second person. We have anxiety, not surprised there. Pele, purpose. Power. Power and paradise. So, interesting that paradise and Pele come through, because Pele is a Hawaiian goddess, and Hawaii is kind of known to be a beautiful paradise. There's something about this person where it would seem that they should be fine, but yet they have an anxiety. I don't know how prevalent the anxiety is. Maybe, I feel like a lot of you would resonate more with person A than person B. But regardless, I feel like person A would pick up on person B's anxiety regardless of how well they mask it. Because there's something about person B here where they're driven by something internal. And whether this is something positive or negative, I don't think it's relevant. I feel like there's almost like person B is an idealist. Person B has visions of perfection. And sometimes this vision of perfection comes along with power. Like they feel like if they can make everything perfect, then they have power, or vice versa. Like if they have the power, they can make everything perfect. And I feel like that's great work ethic. For some of you, this could be in the workplace, or for some of you, it could be, I don't feel like this is friendship or even romantic. It could be, but I feel like this is something more either professional or in the neighborhood. There's like a separation of, this is an acquaintance. This is definitely an acquaintance that I feel a lot of you may have empathy for, because there's something about the way they handle things that seems perfect. Like it's perfection on the outside. On the inside, they're riddled with anxiety. The perfectionist syndrome can come off as very depressive or anxious. When you look into the energy of people who are perfectionists, you will find a lot of a feeling of lack, a feeling of low self-esteem, of lack of self-worth. I'm thinking of that song by Britney Spears, Lucky. She's so lucky, she's a star, but she cries in her lonely heart thinking, if there's nothing missing in my life, then why do these tears come at night? Because there's almost, I don't want to say person B is lonely. It's more like they're looking for something that they can't fulfill. And maybe they themselves are not aware of this. However, person A is picking up on person B's anxiety. And I feel like that's where the empathy comes from. So there's this whole thing where person A is looking right through person B. And even though person B might have like a really great facade, they're really great at masking their insecurities, person A picks up on it almost immediately. And I feel like person B may not even, I guess it depends on how person B is open to receiving this kind of criticism. If it's, it's not really a criticism. They think it's a criticism. That's how they view it. It all depends on how open person B is on talking about this particular issue or internal struggle that they may have. I do have to be careful with my words around person B, because person B describes certain things in a much more negative way than they actually are. Again, this is that perfectionist syndrome that they have. Like if it could be a, I don't want to label it anything, but I do feel like person B is such a perfectionist. And I feel like people think that they're already perfect to begin with. Like person B does so much. But if they knew what went on inside, I feel like a lot of people would be much more concerned. They could mask it through being a workaholic, through maybe an alcoholic, maybe they drink a lot or excessively. But what person A is picking up on is that they definitely have empathy for person B. Let's go ahead and get connecting energies. I just felt the need to elaborate on person B because, like I said, on the outside, they seem perfect. However, on the inside, they're far from it. And person A picks up on that. And that is the biggest, it's not an issue. That's just the biggest factor here. So connecting energies. We have birth. Somebody here could have recently given birth. Maybe somebody here is a parent. We have abundance. It wanted to come out reversed. I don't read these cards reversed, but I will note that it was. Let me make space here. We have celebrate. and wish. So, I don't even know if I need to censor these, but I guess better safe than sorry, right? So there is something here about... So person B gives me like Leo or even Aquarius vibes where they just, again, they mask a lot of these things. I feel like they may even hide their struggles through celebrations, through excessive use of money. Like maybe they like to throw money at things. I'm thinking of like celebrating things in a big way. Like they may spend a lot on a celebration, whether it's like, you know, I'm thinking of birthday parties or even vacations. They do all that to mask the fact that inside they really do have... I don't want to say it's an issue. Maybe they don't want to say it's an issue either, but there's an underlying need to fulfill something. Maybe there's a void that they just don't know how to fill. And what person A picks up on is that, well, first of all, person A is very aware of this, like to the point where they can't hide it. So it may be that every now and then they kind of bring it up casually to person B, and person B may get very defensive about it. But with birth and celebrate and wish, I do see there being some sort of connection here. Like this could easily be a friendship where like the closer they get, the more healing there is. However, person A does have to guard from taking on far too much of person B to the point where they take on their anxiety because they're very empathic, because they're capable of feeling the things around them. Wouldn't surprise me if person A, like I said, was kind of even taking on their dreams, because it's not that they're intentionally getting into the psyche of person B, but they are picking up on their mannerisms, their ways of thinking, just certain things here and there. So, and it's not even a lack of boundaries. I feel like they both have great boundaries for each other. The thing is the empathy. Maybe it is boundaries. I don't know. But because I feel like they both think that they have strong boundaries, but there's almost like a crack in the boundaries, if you will. Like somebody forgot to look at certain aspects. With abundance, I do feel like abundance could be at the center of this entire connection. Maybe they both work together, hence they make more money, or maybe one person here is capable of helping the other person make more money. However, this would be like, for example, if there was a mentorship where the person B would be, you know, a higher up and person A is trying to get into their position. It's almost like person A has to step back and ask themselves, is the amount of money that they're making worth the anxiety that this particular job gives me, or something along those lines. However, person B does also have to remember that they are not person B. Person A is their own person, person B is their own person. They both have their own life paths here. So yeah, I feel like for a lot of you, this is either friendship or even something more professional. But it's interesting because what I'm picking up that people say about you two is that you're both friends. Even if you're not friends, people would assume that you're friends because of how you get along. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot. Well, let me look at the back of the deck. Hold. Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this card. I'm hearing to have and to hold, which I think is like part of the traditional wedding vows, which if this is more romantic, I guess that could apply to you. But I'm also seeing like somebody here is carrying somebody. So there's something about pulling each other's weight here. Let's go ahead and move on to the tarot though, because I'm very curious about this energy. The only astrological signs coming out are Aquarius. Sorry, why is that hard to say? Aquarius, because the wish card here reminds me of the star in the traditional tarot. And then Leo, because we have the lion here. And oddly enough, those are opposing signs. Which opposing signs in astrology doesn't always mean that they're complete opposites. I've actually found the opposite to be true. Sometimes they're so similar that the opposition only becomes clear when they're crossed by specific goals or specific ideals. So let's go ahead and get your cards. Pile 4. What are people saying about this connection? What's the tea on this connection? We have the moon reversed. There's almost, people kind of really believe that you two are really great friends. I mean, you might be, but I don't think you're as close as other people seem to make it to be. Or maybe you used to be close friends with this person and now you no longer are. Almost like somebody here betrayed the other person, or maybe there was like a difference of opinion. Because to me, the moon card is a very solitary card. So there's something about, like I said, somebody here sees through the other person. I feel like it could be you seeing through this person, pile 4. But they could also possibly see through you. Or if they could, they wouldn't, because then they would also have to see through themselves. This person could be numbing themselves somehow. Like I said, workaholic, alcoholic, or any sort of... I mean, they could use any substance to ignore what's going on internally. I mean, and some people use working out. Some people use regular food. I mean, person B does not like to feel the feels. Okay, why are they saying this specifically? We have the 10 of Wands and the Empress. Somebody here made something very easy for the other person. Or that used to be the case. And now it's like they're no longer helping them out. So one person has to carry everything. Like I said, and actually the 10 of Wands in the Rider-Waite is the person with all the 10 Wands on their back. And that's very similar to this card, the back of the deck in this one, where somebody here is doing a lot more work than the other person. And people are kind of wondering why one person here is doing more work than the other. It's almost like people could be saying, and maybe this is even something that's happening, somebody here messed up, so now they kind of have to do everything that some other person has asked them to do. Like somebody here messed up really bad, or they messed up an opportunity, or they gave them an opportunity, so therefore they have to do things much more difficult than they originally would. Does that make sense? It's like... And I do see this a lot in the workplace, where like a boss may make an exception for a person who was supposed to be fired, but then they have to like do the worst job in the entire building, and they just kind of put up with it because the other option would be to be jobless. So there's something similar going on here. If it's not that, it could just be that somebody here, there's like an imbalance of power. So people are saying that you used to be close and now you're not. If you ever were close, I'm not even sure, but that's the impression that people are getting. Maybe these two people are related as well. Because I've seen, especially in small businesses, sometimes it's the family members that get way too much leeway in what they do in the business, to the point where it like actually messes up the business. So there's something along those lines here. Lots of feminine energy in this pile as well, by the way. Anything else? We have the 5 of Swords. It's almost like there's no way out of this. It's like I said, if this is a situation where somebody could get out of it, they'd rather not. If this is more social and not, like let's say we're not talking about work, we could be talking about family. This would be somebody just doing way too much for somebody who is not going to compensate them in any way, because somebody here feels that they owe them something. Or maybe they do owe them something. You know, it's kind of like, you know how when kids are young, they get chores, or if they're punished, then they have to do a specific chore that they don't like for a while. That's what I'm getting. However, I do feel like these two people are adults. So it's kind of weird seeing that dynamic into adulthood. And people may even wonder and ask what this is. Maybe somebody here knows what it is. But I do feel like there's an imbalance of power here. We have the 2 of Cups, and it's quite obvious to people that these two are no longer close. Like, you two are no longer close. Maybe you used to be close, but it's not the case anymore. If this was romantic, it's very much in the past. This would be like somebody who used to be close to, but now instead they just do things for you, even though there's no longer any relationship there. And maybe it could be like the parent of your child or something along those lines, which if that's the case, it makes sense. But if it is a partner that you don't have any kids with, people would still wonder, well, why does that person still come around and, I don't know, mow the lawn of this person's house, or, you know, do things here and there. Like, there's something about an unspoken agreement that people wonder about. It's kind of like seeing you two together is almost a little awkward for people. And the 5 of Cups, especially when it's obvious that nobody's happy in this, or that it's just, again, there's like a no-win situation. So people really do think that you're both miserable together. Like, they wonder why you even keep around. Again, if you have no other obligations other than maybe kids or family, I guess that this makes sense. But people are basically saying that you two like almost hate each other or resent each other. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. I just feel like people aren't saying the best things about you, that's for sure. And maybe there's some truth to that, because like I said, I feel like one person here understands the other very well, and the other person only pretends to be happy and they're truly not. There's too much of a deep understanding of each other, or at least one person to the other. And what people have to say is something negative. We have the the backpacker of wands. This is the Knight of Wands in this deck. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it's the Knight of Wands reversed. If this was romantic, and I have to emphasize was, if this is romantic, it was in the past, or this could be like an ex. People may even wonder if like you guys are still like just around each other for physical intimacy or something like that. That's only if this is romantic. If not, if it was something where you used to be friends, like people wonder if you still go and hang out and have fun and do all the, you know, go to the bars, have fun, dance party, etc. You know, just the good old times. I feel like people wonder if you two still do that. I feel like it's very obvious that you don't, or even if there ever was, it's like this thing isn't fun anymore. And maybe there's been some sort of obligation here, maybe outside of both of your control, or maybe you just have to work with each other. But I do see like people are noticing a falling out, and they notice the difficulties, or at least that's what they're saying. I say notice, maybe it's obvious, but everybody definitely talks about these two things. The cat is out of the bag, essentially. People know that you're no longer together, or that you're no longer close like you used to be. But yeah, that's basically the tea on you and your person. But let's go ahead and get your closing advice, or pile 4. So we have surrender. Hear ye, hear ye. You are hereby being called to unclench your grip on any old patterns that are getting in your way. Surrender any ideas that make you feel like a victim of circumstance, or which make your dream relationship seem like an impossibility. The mayor of reinvention has just arrived and has made the following decree. Limiting beliefs about yourself and your life are heretofore, forthwith, officially, and indubitably declared for the birds. So there's something about letting go of this connection that would definitely benefit the both of you. And I guess depending on what the nature of this connection is, like for some of you, it's not going to be easy to let this go. But what you can let go of is the heaviness, the burden, and the baggage. Like I feel like there's something about this connection where somebody is holding on to far too much of either a grudge, or like something needs to be let go. And I think when you both let go is when this is going to get easier, or when it's going to go back to normal. For some of you, I do see you getting back together and having some sort of friendship, or having something more civil. And for others of you, I just see you letting go entirely, because it's obvious to a lot of people that there's no longer any joy in this connection where there used to be. I feel like it was very obvious at one point that you both used to like each other, and now it's like you can't. It's not that you can't stand each other, but you're definitely just putting up a front so that you can do the things you need to do in a civil way. I'm going to go ahead and do channeled messages from your person. These are more on the romance side, but you do not have to take these romantically. So pile 4. You found out something about me. Don't trust me. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of hard to trust each other, especially for the person who sees through the other person. They know exactly what they're up to. They know exactly what they're feeling. I feel like it's the person who isn't as perceptive of what's going on with the other person. They have a hard time trusting somebody, or sorry, trusting that very person. We also have, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Yeah, it's that anxiety. I need to feel in control. Yeah, there's control issues, especially on person B's side. I want to get back together. I'm not sure who wants to get back together here. If they do, it could be because somebody here provided something that the other person couldn't, and they've had a hard time finding that within somebody else. It could also be, especially with this overwhelming feeling, somebody here did way more for another person than they were willing to admit. Therefore, it's like somebody here wants to patch things up and be fine again, especially if this is, for example, family or friends that, you know, have other friends in common. I feel like somebody here wants these two to get along again. I keep writing and deleting messages. Another way of seeing this is somebody here could be wanting to like say something, but at the same time, they don't want to start up something again. They don't want to start up an argument or any sort of clash again. So they kind of go back and forth on it. There's definitely indecision on this part. So yeah, I feel like at one point, well, let's just face it. Somebody here can see through somebody and somebody doesn't like it. And that itself creates a tension that I think other people have grown to even recognize. Back of the deck, my intentions can be selfish at times. Yeah, somebody here acknowledges that somebody has a tendency to be selfish, whether that's on purpose or not. Sometimes it's unintentional, but other times I think they're aware of what they're doing. But this is where I leave it, pile 4. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 5. If you chose the garnet stone, then we have a reading here for you about you and your person. What are people saying about you? What's the tea on you? Any gossip, any chatter that may be about you and your person. So we're going to start with your individual energies. This is going to be the vibe check to see if this is you and your person, and then we're going to go into the tarot to see more specifically what is being said, what the tea is. So let's start with your cards. These are meant to represent you and your person. You can choose whichever you want to be, person A or person B. So let's start with this one. We have dice, chance, number 14. We have mother, number 17. We have surrender and set, chaos. Definitely strong baby mama energy coming through here for whatever reason. Especially with chance, chaos, and mother and surrender. It's almost like this could easily be somebody that you've had a child with. You could be the mother, they could be the mother. I'll be honest, when I'm tapping into this energy, I feel a little tired, especially those of you who have recently given birth. Maybe you're just a little exhausted from having to recover. If you are watching this while recovering, then I thank you, because I know new moms are very busy. But there's something about, if it's not that, then person A is definitely like, if they're not a mother themselves, it could be like a mama's, I almost want to say mama's boy, but it could still be a mama's girl. There's something about their mother having a strong hold over them, whether they choose to accept this or not. I feel like their mother has a strong hold on them, because with chance and chaos, it's almost like they may make certain decisions that make no sense to anybody except when it comes to how they perceive what their parents, specifically their mother, may think of them, which is very interesting. And then for person B, we have scarab, resilience. We have nature. And I must censor this. We have illumination and Isis, protection. So little does person A know that person B is kind of impervious to, why do I keep hearing mama's boy? Maybe person A is just a mama's boy and it's kind of obvious. This does feel like it could be romantic, because I feel like that term wouldn't really be important unless that was the case. Or even friends. Maybe this is a friendship where somebody's overbearing mother is kind of getting in between all connections that this person has. Take that as it resonates. Or the motherhood of person A, like if they themselves are a mother, is kind of getting in the way of them being able to make connections. Because I'm getting that person B, they definitely listen to themselves. They listen to their body. With illumination and protection, I feel like this person tries very hard to guard against people who would otherwise ruin their peace, especially with resilience. So let's just go with the example that this is something more romantic. If person A has an overbearing parent or an overbearing mother, person B wouldn't fall to the whims of that said mother. I know that seems odd, but that's just what's coming through. This could be something that is being said about the both of you, especially by like friends or family that are very close to both of you. Because this feels like something very personal. So let's go ahead and get your connecting energies. This pile feels very specific, so if that's not resonating, we do have other piles for you to choose from. We have soften. We have oversee. Oh, sorry, observe. Why did I say oversee? Well, I guess overseeing and observe are kind of similar. The only difference is that overseeing implies something more vigilant, I guess. As to where observing is a little bit more passive, a little bit more neutral. We have choice. And create. Several things are coming through. If person A is looking for somebody to be the mother of their child or like a parent, because I would believe that person A would want, it's odd. It's like they're surrendering to the fact that they don't really have much control over their life, or that things just need to go a certain way, which I know doesn't seem like they would, because between living this chaotic life or just following what everybody else has done, I feel like they find some sort of comfort in just doing what's expected of them. And sometimes what is expected of them is whatever their mother may desire, whatever they want, which is so interesting. If their mother is not in the picture, they definitely have mother wounds. That does need to be said, because every time I see this card, I just get I get a bit of an ick, honestly, personally. Maybe person B does as well. Person B, though, they're very much their own person. Like, they're not bothered by things. Even, like, and it's unfortunate that if this is something romantic or potentially romantic, it would be person A's mother or mother wounds that ultimately decide what happens in this connection. Because with soften, observe, choice, and create, I feel like they both understand that they could create something beautiful here. I feel like there is a choice to be made, more so on person A's side, because I feel like person A is at a point where they should be able to make their own decisions. However, they're not really used to that. So instead, they leave it up to chance, they surrender, and maybe even participate in some chaos. I feel like person A honestly has a little bit of growing up to do, and that could be coming from the fact that they had parents that enabled a lot of their chaotic behavior. I almost wanted to say selfish, but I don't think person A views it as selfish, because that's just how they were taught to behave and act for the majority of their life. As to where person B finds peace within themselves, they know how to create the life of their own. They know how to choose wisely, whether it's internally, intuitively, or even just common sense. Person B, with resilience and protection, I mean, they've been through it. So it's not like they don't understand chaos. It's not that they don't understand struggles and having to make hard decisions. It's just that they know the price of it now. They know what it costs to make a decision that is unwise, as opposed to person A, who probably still doesn't understand that or just doesn't seem to care. For example, let's say these are two friends and they want to go out partying, they want to go out drinking. Person B would know where to cut it off. They would know, how many drinks to have, how many bars to go to. They would know when to go home. Person A just kind of gets carried away with the night. They're like, let me see how much I can do. Let me see how much I can take on, etc. Therefore, there's a huge contrast of how these two operate. And yet there is there's definitely a softness between the both of them. I definitely see that this could be, like I said, a relationship, a romantic relationship, a friendship. There's something about the both of them getting along at some point. I think their initial differences is what brought them together, because they were just so curious about each other. But it's at a point right now where it could easily drive them apart, or somebody, like I said, somebody's mother wounds could be getting in the way of this. Person A's mother wounds. Person B, I'm not saying that they're perfect, because with protection and resilience, they've been through it as well. They just know how to respond to problems in a much more healthier manner than person A. Again, if we were to take the example, maybe it's money. Maybe somebody here knows how to save up for their for the things that they want, and the other person just kind of spends willy-nilly on whatever they want because they can. But when it comes to paying bills, maybe they have some sort of issue. So that's what's going on here. Let's go ahead and see what people are saying about this connection. Also, it should be noted, Set was actually, these are both Egyptian gods from Egyptian mythology. Set is the one who tore apart Osiris, which is Isis's husband, and she's the one who had to bring all the pieces of Osiris back together and bring him back from the dead. So I could easily see these two being opponents. Like, they're definitely ops here. So where Isis could easily resent Set for being everything that he is, she probably just doesn't care and would rather just do her own thing and bring a life to the world. Actually, she's considered the mother goddess in Egyptian mythology. So it's no surprise that at one point, person A was definitely very much into person B, because that mother-like energy that they were seeking is definitely present in person B with Isis here. I can't believe I almost overlooked that detail, but that's important to note going into this reading. So let's go ahead and look at the tarot to see what people are saying about this. This could easily be an ex. This could easily be a former relationship, even friendship. Like, again, what initially was very different about each other is what drew you together. Wouldn't surprise me if person A was also, if not younger than person B, then definitely more immature, whether it's mental or emotionally immature. And again, not saying person B is perfect, but like person B just kind of has their ish together way more than person A. We have the Eight of Pentacles. Something has been lost here. I feel like at one point you both were trying to build something and now it's all gone. We have the Ten of Pentacles. I'm hearing the song by Gautier, somebody I used to know. Specifically, we could have had it all. Or no. Is that what they sing? I don't remember. But I'm hearing we could have had it all. Like you were so close to having it all together. We have the Ace of Cups. Yeah, a connection where people are basically noting that you're not together. There's no longer any love. The Four of Swords. However, somebody here might be wanting to start things up again. I am getting that. I'm not sure who it would be. And the Lovers. Okay, I'll be honest. There's somebody in this connection that wants to come back around and try it out again. With the Four of Swords and the Lovers, maybe you've even had dreams about this. Maybe somebody here is having dreams about somebody else. Because I feel like people really do believe that you two will get back together somehow. Which, I don't know how you feel about that, pile 5. Me personally, I can see why one person would want to stop being with the other. Because I feel like, again, those stark differences are enough to create enough tension and friction in a connection that it wouldn't work out. However, what people are saying is that if they would just get their ish together, they could be a very happy couple. They could have it all. They could, you know, live happily ever after. Because I do believe at one point you both did have everything together. Maybe you even lived together. Maybe you, for some of you, you could have children with this person already. And maybe there was a separation. But I see and hear people saying that you two could just get back together if somebody would only work on themselves. You know, I just keep hearing that. Back of the deck, we have Justice. However, I do see karma here. Part of the reason you're not together is because somebody here has had their karma. Underneath that, we have the Page of Swords and the Ace of Swords. So somebody here definitely has been thinking this, but I don't think they'll act on it. Seven of Wands, because if they were to act on it, if somebody here was to come back, they would have to be held accountable for everything that they didn't do previously. So let's say this is a relationship where you're trying to get back together. Whoever didn't own up to their end of the bargain, whoever didn't do the things that somebody else asked, would have to do that. It's like a non-negotiable. So yeah, we have the Knight of Pentacles. And even if they did agree to finally getting their issue around, it would take, I mean, forever for this person to get there. Nine of Wands, to the point where it wouldn't even, like, it would just be a lot of drama. Yeah, and there it is, the Devil. Somebody would eventually fall back into their bad habits, that chaotic energy. And don't get me wrong, I feel like if you were to try this out again, it would be probably because the lovemaking or like the romantic aspects of this connection were probably great. But when it came to the everyday details, when it came to like living together, paying the bills, etc., all the non-romantic stuff that a relationship or marriage or anything like that has going on for it, it just didn't work. When it came to the love part, I feel like, you know, it was definitely there. Opposites attract for a reason. But when it came to living together and actually doing things in a connection, it didn't work. So what people are saying is that if somebody here would just get their ish together, things would be fine. They could be talking about you, they could be talking about the other person. Definitely somebody's mother is thinking that. Like, I keep hearing just strong, overbearing mother energy. And I'm not sure if you care for that. I could draw more cards for that because I can already tell some of you are curious. If you don't want somebody back from your past, you do not have to accept them. And you will know who you are. You can go on to another reading. I know when I get that in my readings, I'm always like, yeah, next. Nope, not taking anyone back. We have the Seven of Wands. Like I said, accountability is so strong here. Somebody here would have to change so much. Not just change, but like proof of change. Proof of doing things. It's not just, oh yeah, I'll do it, and then, I don't know. I sense the frustration here. We also have the Nine of Cups. That said, there was some sort of emotional stability to this that I think the both of you did enjoy. However, like I said, the romance is fine. The feelings are fine. It's just working things out between you two was the draining part. The Fool reversed. Again, it would be like a new beginning, but would it be worth it? Would it really feel like a new beginning, or would it feel like you're just getting back to the same thing? Yeah, death. It's like there needs to be a rebirth. 8 of Swords, 7 of Swords. And honestly, I feel like the majority of you wouldn't want to rekindle this because you've already done you've already been through it. Like, why do it again? And I don't even think anybody here hates the other person. I don't think there's any resentment. It's more like, why go through this again? Like, yes, there's a love, but I feel like it's more platonic now than it is romantic. Even though you might still be good friends with this person, I'll be honest. You might still like talk to them and still get along, but you want nothing to do with them romantically, and you definitely don't want anything along the lines of marriage or commitment long term. So, but people are saying that you will eventually get back together, or that you could work it out, that it's a shame that it didn't work out. Like, I'm just hearing that from a mother figure. Maybe both mother figures. Maybe it's both your mother and their mother. Who knows? But let's go ahead and get your final cards, your advice cards for my pile 5. Wait and see. Thoughts love to wander into assumptions and race ahead to the future. But what if you told them to cool their jets and chill a sec? Today, you get to put on your mental chatter on pause, to take a breath and simply wait and see how things play out before you let your mind run a marathon of imagined scenarios. Wait, and you'll see what waiting and seeing was a lot more productive. Wait, and you'll see that waiting and seeing was a lot more productive than wondering and worrying. So, for a lot of you, before you even make up your mind, I feel like wait and see. You could decide to wait and see what this connection has to offer. You could decide to wait and see before you even make up your mind. For a lot of you, I feel like you could have gotten into this a little bit too hastily, or maybe you moved this connection along too fast, or faster than you would have liked. But there's definitely a feeling that you will wait and see what this person or what this connection has to offer. Let me go ahead and get your channeled messages from your person. Because for a lot of you, this does feel very strongly romantic, or even just friendship, I am going to leave it romantic. Because why would a mother have anything to say about a friendship? I feel like a mother would have more to say about a romantic relationship. So we have don't trust me. Honestly, I feel like person A, the chaotic person, they don't even trust themselves sometimes. We have I am still learning. Sorry, I am still healing. Healing and learning can be similar, so I'm not surprised I said that Freudian slip. But yeah, I feel like somebody here is still healing. I feel stuck. Somebody here could feel stuck with or without this person. I miss you. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if you both missed the relationship itself, the romantic parts, or even the comfort level of this. Wow, you are beautiful. Okay, so this person definitely still finds you beautiful, pile 5. I feel like that just needed to be said. I need to feel in control. Yeah, somebody here has control issues, or issues with having control, whether it's over themselves or life in general. And back of the deck, if you let me, I'll take care of you. Like I said, there's like a feeling somebody here could want to rekindle something. Somebody here may want somebody to rekindle something. And I don't know, pile 5, if you found out that the only reason somebody came through to try things out again with you is because their mother told them to, I don't know how you would feel about that, because I am getting a meddling parental energy here. But this is where I leave it, pile 5. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care.